crypto market is going down. Should you be worried? According to some people, yes, but in my opinion, no. We should not be worried. And in this video, I want to show you exactly why and why my bulk app stays on for 2025. So welcome to the Fomo Factory. If you want to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. Also, don't forget to do that. Yeah, let's get into it, man. So Bitcoin on the shorter time frame, it is going down a little bit. And what I notice in this market right now is that every time Bitcoin goes down a little bit, there is panic. And even when Bitcoin is going up on the higher time frame, there is no real euphoria in the market, or people are not really bullish, man. And then when it takes a small hit, people and acting like the world is ending, while in fact it is all good, man. It's all good. If you let's start with Bitcoin and then get into altcoins, because I know most people don't care about Bitcoin. It can dump to zero as long as their altcoins are doing fine. That's understandable, but hey, altcoins are kind of doing something because Bitcoin is doing it, right? So if we look at Bitcoin right now, that whole $92,000 level has been support for a very long time. And all that we did basically is just go back to test that as support. And so far, hey, great attempt, like not breaking it or anything. We get a pretty decent candle on the daily right now. So it shows that, hey, that $92,000 level is still intact. Now, I want to talk about also like, hey, what if that breaks? But let's get back to that in a second. But somehow people are just like not really bullish. They look at the altcoin market and be like, man, this cycle sucks. I don't know if you are in the same boat. A lot of people, they say like, this cycle sucks. It's different. It's not working out. And I just want to together zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture, because is it different and does it actually suck? And look, if you are constantly not making money with crypto, then you should consider maybe being in different altcoins. But overall, I feel like the market isn't that bad actually. If we take a look at a very long time frame, so Bitcoin on a yearly basis, then you can see that 2024 was a fantastic year. We went up 120%. If you look at 2020, Bitcoin went up 300%. And if you take a look at 2016, Bitcoin went up 126%. So that did pretty much what a halving year was supposed to do, right? Going up with more than 100%. Now, this year so far, like, yeah, it's not even red, right? So what are we complaining about, man? Like, it's green, like it's supposed to be, okay? So Bitcoin is not doing anything different. And also, if we take a look at the ROI for Bitcoin compared to the last two cycles, then we are perfectly on track with the last two cycles. So far saying that this time is different, it's pretty much off the table, right? We're following exactly what we did before. And yeah, if after more than a decade that somehow is going to change, then we'll see by then. But for now, I feel like, hey, Bitcoin always has a correction around this period. You can see this right here in this cycle and right here in this cycle. And it might be that we are now doing that for this cycle, right? But what happened after these corrections? Don't forget about that. So let me first talk about, hey, what if we break this $92,000 level? Because so far, the bulls show up at 92 and be like, nah, not gonna happen, right? But maybe the buyers get exhausted faster than the sellers. Could be. Then what? Two scenarios. One scenario, and I don't, again, guys, I don't want to be a moon boy or bear boy, or what was the opposite of moon boy? Hell boy? I don't know. I don't want to be perma bullish or perma bearish. I just really want to look at it like, so far it's playing out like it did in the last cycles. As soon as I started to trade my whole crypto thing as cyclical as possible, I started to make money. So please, like, ignore the emotions, ignore the sentiment, okay? So far, it's following it like we just saw on this chart as well. So what are two downside scenarios if it's gonna play out, and how is the altcoin market gonna do? So the first thing is that you can see, it's what I showed a couple times before earlier as well, that if you take a look at how cyclical Bitcoin is, in January of 2021, we had a correction, right? We had a correction of 30%, right? And in January of 2017, we also got a correction. And that correction from top to bottom was 34%, right? So I mean, hey, January post halving year correction 34%. January post halving year is somewhere 30%, right? So far, we are having a correction from the top until where we are right now of around 13%. So if anything, we are doing way better than what we usually do, right? So there are like two things possible. If that cyclical correction is going to play out. Like I said, first one was 34, second one was 30. Maybe it's diminishing, right? Maybe these corrections are also diminishing. And in that case, we can maybe also expect a correction, but not by that much. Maybe 25%, right? 25% will take us down to around $80,000. And, you know, maybe it's going to be less. Maybe it's going to be around 22%. And that could line up with 83 is that. And that could line up with the bull market support band, by the way. So that's a possibility. I want to make clear that if we see this scenario or the other scenario that I'm going to talk about, it makes me even more bullish, because that only actually shows that this cycle is doing what the last cycles did. But if you are too much focused on only the correction, right? Only the correction that happened, like we saw over here, right? This correction, and and if you don't look at what came after that, right? Or in 2017, if you look at this correction and not what came after that, then you're going to make it very hard on yourself, right? So if we do see a correction to somewhere in the 80s, it's time to be bullish. It sounds weird, but it's time to be bullish, actually. Okay. Now, the other thing that could play out is like, yeah, I said, like we had a 34% correction. Maybe we get something like that, right? And that would line up with this area right here. Now, there are more things that point back to around 70K. One of the things could very simply be that, hey, we had a run up. It was big resistance for more than half a year, and we broke out without a retest. Maybe we have the run up, resistance, breakout, retest up. Like in hindsight, if you just see what I've drawn, right? And if you then look in hindsight at such a chart, yeah, would it be that bad? Yeah, if you bought like here and decided to panic sell right here, then you're not having the best cycle. Other than that, like even if we go back to 70K, that would be very, very, very normal. So I'm not saying we will, but I said this I think 1 or 2 months ago already, like, hey, guys, could happen. Would be actually perfectly fine if that happens. So that's for Bitcoin. I am totally not worried about this cycle for Bitcoin whatsoever. Now, a lot of people feel like, yeah, Bitcoin is doing well, but altcoins, they suck, right? I mean, if you look at Bitcoin on the yearly, hey, last year it had a gain of 120%. And if you look at the altcoin market last year, it was 50%, right? Yeah, the altcoin market in 2020 went up with 319%. That was also not outperforming Bitcoin or anything. So it wasn't like the time for altcoins yet. That's also, if you look at alt season. Look, I've said for a long time, years, like, hey, alt season end of 2024, beginning 2025, and that could perfectly play out. If you look at altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, so if it's alt season or not, right? You can see that we touch this trend line. Every time we touch this, we get into a big alt season. And we happen to so far touched it at the beginning of the post-halving year, right? Here, the beginning of the post-halving year. And after that, we got an alt season. Right? But if you look like, hey, last year, altcoins sucked. No alt season, yada, yada, yada. Like, did we get an alt season here? Like, we got a little relief. We got some relief here as well. But the real alt season, like, no, we got it here in the post-halving year, right? Here, same case. Even it happened in March, like 2 months from now, cyclical-wise. So for the people that feel like, yeah, my altcoins suck, this and that, I understand. But we are, if you look at the cycle, we are not supposed to already had an alt season, right? We weren't supposed to have it already. Yeah, now I feel like, hey, if alt season has started at this point, then if anything, we got it earlier than last cycles, because again, we touched it right here in November 2024. Here it was January 2021, and here it was like we even went up in March, right? So yeah, if I look at this, I'd be like, yeah, okay, Bitcoin won. That's what we want, right? That's the leading coin. Look, we can have an alt season where altcoins outperform Bitcoin, but if Bitcoin goes to 10K, then it's not much of an alt season feeling, right? So we need Bitcoin to go up and altcoins to outperform Bitcoin. And all the emotions aside, and all the news and the narratives and the what if this and what if that. Look, if all these scenarios in your head are that important, then the chart would not have followed the exact previous cycles already, right? Then the chart would have already looked way different. So what we need is Bitcoin to, I want to say go up, but to not go to shit, right? Actually, like if Bitcoin stays at this level and altcoins start to outperform Bitcoin, that's already crazy, right? But what we need is a good, healthy, nice looking orange Bitcoin. Well, we'll stay orange, but other than that, like we need Bitcoin to do well. Again, even if it goes to 70, normal, okay? I really want to prep you for, in case it happens, don't worry, it's even better, right? Because that even shows like, whoa, this cycle again is, even the crashes are the same, right? Like everything, right? Other than that, yeah, again, if I look at this chart, I'll be like, man, we've been following this. Like, of course, here we had a run up, which was going too fast, but then it slowed down to be on track with these other cycles, right? And that's where people got bored as well. Oh, Bitcoin is going sideways for so long. That's what they said right here, right? Like, it's going sideways, it's broken, it's not. On the other hand, we were going up too fast, if you can see that right here. So we needed to cool down so that the other cycles could catch up. And once we were all aligned, we started to collectively go up. Like, it's, wow. So therefore, I feel like, man, it would be weird if we now do this. Like, okay, I know it's diminishing, but it's not different, right? There's a difference between diminishing and different. So we need a decent Bitcoin. Well, so far, Bitcoin is looking like it's going to rip. It's going to have a fantastic 2025. And look, there are like, I'm not only glued to that chart, right? There are other charts. If you look at the logarithmic regression band for Bitcoin as well, it's very simple. Red area, upper band, is where you really want to consider, you know, getting the fuck out of Bitcoin. And green is actually buying, right? And in between, it's just waiting, unless we're going down. But in the bull market, up is waiting. Now, we were green, great to buy, waiting, great to sell, right? Green, great to buy, waiting, great to sell. Green, great to buy, wait, great to sell. Great to buy, wait, great to sell. Great to buy, right? That's the territory that we are still in right now, and people already feel like, oh, no, sell. Like, I doubt it, right? And there, based on this, there is so far 100% chance based on this chart, right? Not 100% in general, but based on this chart, there's a pretty much guaranteed chance that we will get to or very close to the upper band. Um, by the end of 2025, that's sitting between 3 and 450K. Look, I'm not saying we will go there, but there's a difference between that number, which is most realistic, and the number where we are right now. So let's find a midway, maybe, right? And I don't even know if the midway is more realistic than the upper band. But hey, there's no reason to be bearish on Bitcoin, right? And if you want to give it narratives, we have ETFs, we have Trump, we have him hiring everybody who's pro crypto. Like, there's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff, actually, right? And of course, there's a lot of bad stuff in the world. Then again, also, if it was that bad, then the chart would have already, like, the crypto adopts news very fast, right? So then the charts would have already shown. So Bitcoin is right where it's supposed to be. And yeah, when it comes to altcoins, it is kind of the same story. Like, people sometimes they now feel like, hey, what a terrible altcoin market so far. And I just look at the market and be like, but is it? I mean, we are still up like 5x from the bottom, right? And we just went down from a cycle high with 24%. That's it. Look, guys, if you cannot handle a 24% correction, I would say, like, okay, if you want to be in crypto, then at least be in Bitcoin, but don't even bother being in altcoins. This is a Tuesday, right? Like, this is so normal. This is very normal, actually. So yeah, no, I'm not that worried, actually. And on closing basis so far, the altcoin market actually still making higher lows and higher highs, right? So you could be like, well, we're going down. On the other hand, it's kind of bullish. These patterns are usually bearish, right? But then again, this is the daily. This is a short time frame. I'm talking about the whole year right here. Altcoins also far above the bull market support band, which offers support, right? If you're above it. And that band is moving up pretty fast, right? So the bar's getting raised a lot as well. Now, also, the problem is that these dumps happen when people don't expect it. And we went up very fast in a very short time. So people were kind of like caught up in the bull market PTSD, like, oh, I'm used to it going up, and look that going up, and look that going up. And then we get a 25% correction, and then it feels like, but it's not that bad. Also, if you look at this trend line right here, this goes back to 2018, where we had resistance, right? Support in the full bull of 2021, resistance again in this mid cycle, and now again resistance in what was it, December, beginning of December, like last month, right? So it wasn't a level that you would have said like, oh yeah, we're gonna just break and fly forever. That's not like that wasn't the most logical outcome. So it is normal, cycle-wise, it is normal. And that Bitcoin now could have a correction to 80, 70K would be normal. That altcoins will bleed, that's normal. Again, that altcoins are not fully in at the top of an alt season yet as well. Again, guys, that's normal. Like I said, we weren't supposed to have one based on the previous cycles. Now is the time. Look, and if we do what 2021 did, then we're going to start off right now, right? If we do what 2017 did, we have to wait until March, right? It could be that it happens end of January, maybe February, maybe March, right? Like, that's the period, right? And yeah, if you're 9 days into 2025 and expected 2025 to be the alt season year, but already are doubting because the first 9 days are not doing what you wanted it to do for the whole year, then I will feel like, okay, zoom out a little bit. 2024 5 is more than a week, right? It has a lot of weeks, actually. So normal stuff right here. If you look at another chart for alt season, why I am still really, really, really bullish on alt season. Look, the others dominance, altcoin dominance, so up alt season, down altcoin rec season. On the shorter time frame, you can see that we went down, So far, the bull market support band is holding. That's a good sign, right? And even if we go below it, I think that won't affect the longer term really. But for the short term, it's actually looking quite good. Um, but if you look at the quarterly chart, that's for me most interesting. The most explosive alt season run in both cycles happened in Q1 of the post halving year, like where we in right now, right? 2017, 2021 Q1 and 2017 Q1. Right now, this was up 190%. This was up 90%. I'm not saying that this will go up 90. I'm not saying that this will go up 190, although it is both possible. But I am saying that compared with these numbers, if we were really off, if it now all of a sudden is going to be minus 20 or something, right? Even if it's going to be like 50 or 40, that's going to make your bags explode because they are now outperforming a 90K Bitcoin and not a 60K or 20K Bitcoin, right? So we don't even need a big move. That's kind of the nice thing right here. So I'm just looking at these charts and be like, yeah, I mean, January starts off a little red, like, and then it could go way redder, redder, redder. I don't know. Overall, for the long term, I am pretty chill. Actually, if you look at the Bitcoin dominance without stablecoins, then you can see that it wasn't this rising wedge, which is a very bearish eventually pattern, and it's pretty cool that we now got rejected here at the bull market support band, and we try to give it another attempt. And but we are below the bull market support band. We are below the wedge, like, and the wedge is getting higher and higher and higher. So that's more going to be resistance than support, like it did right now, right? So the favor, it's now in the altcoins' favor, basically. It's not anymore that all like alt season now has a support line instead of a resistance level. That's good. That's really good. So I have some people in the community saying like this is not working out for me and I need to make money and this and that. Look, guys, I mean, I hope you're not playing with more money than you can lose, because then you are too emotionally involved, and that's your biggest enemy in crypto. Because if you have too much emotion, you're gonna be impatient, right? Well, crypto is not for the impatience. You're gonna be reckless. You're gonna be impulsive. You're gonna do stupid things, right? Well, if you just look at all these charts that I've just shown you, then you could be like, wow, you know, it is looking bullish as hell. And on the short term, yeah, we have small bump. Who cares? Like, have you ever seen a market where it was up only? No, of course not. Never, right? And it will never happen. That's not like how it works. So I still think that we're going to enter this phase right here. And I will keep this here. We have a bull phase, right? We have a bear phase and a prepare phase. Bull, bear, prepare. Bull, bear, prepare. Like that's what you want to do. So we had our bull phase 2021. Everybody was euphoric. Nobody expected the bear market. And then we got a big bear market. It was over and it's not coming back, yada, yada, yada. And now the prepare phase where people also doubting and more like not getting wrecked, but bored out of the market. And then we get into a bull phase. And as you can see in the two previous bull phases, look how fast things can go. Right? It can go really fast. Right? So don't let this market catch you off guard. There are some people honestly don't believing in this cycle anymore. I would say, look at the charts. Are you following your emotions or the data? I would not follow your emotions. That's the most important thing. So I want to leave it there, guys. If you need somebody who's just like, guys, we'll be fine, and not just randomly, but because of this, then or consider subscribing to the channel. We will make a lot of money. We already did very, very, very well on a lot of things. Latest project was Sonic that came out that absolutely ROI'd hard on us. And It will be a lot more. And when the market does shift, it can happen again. It can happen fast. And then the rewards that you make right here are going to be based on how you prepared right here. Right. So don't be an idiot. Don't be like, nah, it's not working out and I don't prepare and I sell. And because if then this happens, then there are no rewards for you. Then you're gonna have FOMO, you're gonna buy the top, and you're gonna wreck yourself in a bull market anyway. That will be a waste, okay? So thanks for watching, guys. Please consider liking the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on, and I'll see you tomorrow.